Sales is the best skill set to learn if you're looking to make 7 to 10K a month from home and you're 18 to 25. You don't really have much of an idea of what you want to do with your life. I am a little biased on this because 3 years ago, when I was 18, I'm 21 now, I started out in sales. Well, I actually started a marketing agency, but I was primarily selling the whole day to get clients for it. And that's the first thing that really got me making money online. I peaked at about 30K a month with that business, and it was all thanks to learning the skill of sales. And before then, I ran a few other businesses, but they didn't really work out until I started that marketing agency. And there's a few reasons. I'm going to break them down in this video as to why I think sales is the best possible skill set. I'd say the first one is there's no experience required, and you can make money from it that rivals doctor salaries or lawyer salaries. And it's just because of the risk, obviously, because with most sales gigs, you're 100% commission based. So it doesn't require you to have a lot of education because the businesses that are hiring you, they don't need to put on as much risk as with a typical employee where they have to pay an entire salary. So they make sure you're essentially pre-qualified. But with sales, you have to earn your stripes essentially. I think that's the right word to label it there. So if you're just a guy fresh out of high school, like how I was, and you don't really know what to do, you don't want to take on a bunch of student debt, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not at least trying it out once, because who knows, you could be making crazy money a year from now if you just stick to it. Literally all you need is a mouth in 2 years and then be able to speak English in the United States. If you're in the United States, if you're somewhere else, then it might be a little trouble for you. But that's what's so beautiful about it, because you can theoretically join an organization, whether you're selling life insurance like me, or you're selling marketing services, or you're selling roofing, home services, real estate, anything. You can join any organization, start from the very bottom, and work your way up towards the top of the ladder. And there's no experience needed. All you needed to do is have some grit, persistence, and hard work. It's almost like you're starting out in a brand new competitive video game. I'm sure a lot of you guys are, if you guys are watching this, I'm literally talking over a Black Ops 3 Zombies game right now. You guys probably are into video games. You can probably recall back if you played R6, Valorant, CSGO, maybe even fucking League, any type of competitive game. You start out from the very bottom and then you work your way all the way up towards the top of the ranks, right? Same thing applies with sales. And that's so beautiful about it, because it's unlike any other industry where you have to go through all this freaking education, go to college for 4 years, go into a bunch of debt just to make maybe 50 grand a year at an entry level position, when you can just get a sales gig and then work your ass off. Don't go into any debt because you have to pay for, let's say, a college education. You could just work your ass off, learn from the people in your company, get free training from the company, and then boom, you're making 50, 60, 80 grand a year, 100 grand a year, even more, and you don't have any debt. So that's reason number one why I think it's so great, because you don't really need any experience and you can make crazy money from it. Reason number two is you learn to communicate, and that affects every single aspect of your life, because humans, we're social creatures. The way we connect with other people, the way we think, we get things in life, is we have to communicate for it. It's very rare that someone gets to where they want to be just operating on their own. You need help from other people. At the end of the day, we're a social species, right? So, and I don't think no one talks about this enough. As a social species, the number one skill you should focus on is the skill of communication, right? Because think about it like this: if you're not able to communicate, you're going to be so much far off worse than the guy that can communicate when it comes to something as simple as ordering food. Because if you order food like a dingus, is that a real word? Whatever. If you order food like a chud, or a guy that sounds just really stupid, the waiter's going to think of you weird. The people sitting you at the dinner table is going to think you're weird. If you're speaking to a girl and you don't know how to communicate properly, she's going to think you're weird. It all comes down to how you communicate, because it signals how sure you are of yourself. It signals if you're high intellect or not, things of that nature. Communicating will affect every single aspect of your life. And the easiest way to get better at communicating is to make your job communicating, which is sales. I hope that made sense. That was the second point. I know that was a little short. And the third point, and I think I think they're all really important points. Yeah, I'd say this is equally as important as the other ones. It's if you're looking to start some type of business in the future, you need to learn how to sell too. And obviously with sales, you can make 6 figures a year, but if you want to make millions of dollars a year, you want to start a business of some sort. And I would say more than 70% of businesses out there, you need to learn how to communicate, even if you run an e-commerce store, because you're still technically having to quote unquote sell people in your team to work for you, things of that nature. But I was referring to, let's say you own a life insurance agency. You need to learn how to sell to your clients as well as learn how to recruit people. That's a form of sales in itself. Or let's say you run a roofing company. Same thing applies. You have to learn how to sell homeowners roofs. You have to learn how to sell people to come work for your company. And if you don't know how to communicate properly, you're going to be screwed. When I used to run my marketing agency, I used to speak with tons of home service businesses because that's the services I would sell to them. I would do marketing services to generate leads for local businesses, specifically heating and air companies. And a lot of these people, the only reason why they were doing so bad in business was because they just didn't know how to communicate. They had great services in terms of the actual home services they were doing, but they just couldn't sell anything. And I could give them all the leads in the world, but they just couldn't communicate. So it would cause them to just not do the numbers they want to do in terms of the revenue. I had a bunch of clients like this. I also had a bunch of clients where their services weren't that good. Their client satisfaction wasn't that great, but they were doing so much more revenue. They're doing millions of dollars a year. The only reason they were able to do that is because they were just better at sales and communication. They could sell the client on going with them versus the other guy. They could sell better talent in terms of team members to come work for them rather than the other guy. It all comes down to communication. I literally cannot stress this enough. If you look up online, there is a study out there and it did a survey of a number of millionaires and billionaires, and about 70% of them started out in sales as a fundamental skill set that they developed. Obviously, they didn't stick in sales because now they're running big businesses and that's how they got their millions and billionaires. But that just goes to show how important of a skill set sales is. Success leaves clues, guys. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go against the grain. If I know 70% of millionaires and billionaires, they start out in sales, I'm gonna go that path. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. I made it a bit longer than 5 minutes this time, which is cool. You guys have any questions about getting into sales, anything like that, or anything related to life, I'm always down to chat. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm going to leave my IG in the bio here. In the bio, description of the video. See you guys in the next vid.